thought I'd show you how to make gluten-free vanilla cupcakes. Now this is a recipe that I get asked for a lot, and I always just say to people, go check out my Victoria sponge recipe and follow that, but then just put it all into cupcake cases. But I thought it's probably best that I just make it easier for everyone and actually have a video showing you how to make them, because they are just really simple and I want you to make them as easily as possible so you can enjoy them and just have a bit of fun. In this video I'm going to show you how to make them using the creaming method, so that means adding the ingredients more one at a time, but you can also make these using the all-in-one method, which is just the easiest thing in the world. Bung it all in, mix it all up and put it into cupcake cases, bish bash bosh, you're done, you got cupcakes. So yeah, I will put a link to the recipe below because I'm sure lots of you will want to just read it so that you can find the measurements out and all that jazz. But without further ado, let's have a look at the ingredients so that we know what we need for vanilla cupcakes. So here is everything you'll need for the vanilla cupcakes. We have got caster sugar here. If you don't have caster, you could use granulated. You could also use golden caster sugar and that'll be fine. I've got some gluten-free self-raising flour. Then I have got some eggs. I have got some baking powder and there's a little bit of xanthan gum mixed in there. And then I've also got some butter. If you were dairy-free, you could use some dairy-free spread instead. And then I have got some vanilla because these are vanilla cupcakes, so we need some vanilla, and it seems to have leaked a little bit there. Right, so firstly, I've got my sugar, I've got my butter, and I'm going to cream them together with my electric mixer. Make sure your butter is nicely softened. Okay, so that's nice and creamy now, and next I'm gonna add my eggs and also my vanilla extract, but I don't have enough hands to show you that. But remember, eggs one at a time, mixed in, and then some vanilla extract as well. Next it's time for the self-raising flour and the baking powder, and I've got a little bit of xanthan gum in there. You don't need that if you don't have it. It's only a tinsy bit, and you've got a little bit probably in your self-raising flour anyway, but I've added a little bit just for the hell of it. So I'm going to put these in, and instead of using the electric mixer this time, I'm going to fold them in by hand with a spatula so that I can keep all that air in there and make sure that the cake is or the cakes rather, are really nice and fluffy and have a great texture. Okay, so that cake mix is now completely ready to put into the cupcake cases and put into the oven. But because this is just a vanilla cupcake recipe and it seems very simple and straightforward, I'm going to jazz it up a bit, and I'm gonna make this video into something where I can show you how to sort of make the cupcakes slightly different. But what I'm gonna do is I'm going to take a percentage, some of the mixture basically, put it in a separate bowl, and I'm going to be folding in some funfetti, so that some of these will just be plain vanilla cupcakes and we might do a little bit of filling afterwards once they've cooked and cooled down. Others will have some lovely funfetti running through them, and then we might jazz up some of the buttercream to make it different as well, just to show you all the different ways that you can make this one mixture awesome. Okay, so I split the mixture into two just so that I can show you this. So I've got my sprinkles here, not too many, and I'm just going to add that to this bowl and fold them in before I put them into the cupcake cases. So here is my cupcake tin with these little paper things. You can use silicone cases as well, but I've just got the paper ones today. And I've got a little tip for you that you might not know. If you can see underneath here, there's little bits of rice in there. So I sprinkle a little bit of rice in each of the little holes of my cupcake tin, because if there's any moisture, it kind of absorbs it and stops the bottoms of any cupcakes from going soggy. It doesn't usually go soggy, but I just find that it kind of helps everything. So I always do that. You'll find it under all of them. And for me, it's just something that I've always done and it works. So that's one little tip. But what we're gonna do now is fill them. Yeah. Right, so we've got half the tray with some funfetti in them to make them nice and colourful, and then half the tray is just the plain vanilla ones. But yeah, I have been preheating my oven for a little bit just to get it up to 160 degrees C fan, which is 180 degrees C, which is 350 degrees Fahrenheit. And they're gonna go into the oven for 20 to 25 minutes. You'll see them, they'll be nicely risen, and they'll be lovely and golden. So once you see that, take them out, give one of them a little skewer just to check that they're cooked all the way through. With cupcakes, they generally are. And then I'll come back to you and we'll take it from there. Okay, so I've got my cupcakes out the oven. They have got a lovely colour on them, lovely rise, and also with these ones here, you can see the funfetti, which is looking very cool, and it will be awesome when you cut into them as well. But yeah, can't do anything with them at the moment, have to let them completely cool down, and then we'll be able to make some buttercream and pipe that on top. And yeah, I'll wait for them to cool and then I'll be right back. Okay, so now it is time to make our buttercream, which only has two main ingredients when it comes to any sort of buttercream really. So we have got butter, which is softened, and then we've also got icing sugar. Then obviously there are also things that we can add. So for this, I might add a little bit of vanilla extract to give it a little bit of flavour. It's a very, very simple thing to do. But I'm just gonna show you how to make a very basic buttercream now. So follow along. Okay, so as you can see, it is a lot more pale in colour after sort of 5 minutes. So now I'm going to gradually add in my icing sugar, as I said, very gradually. I like to put a bit in and then mix it with my spatula so that it's combined so it doesn't fly everywhere. Okay, so last but not least, I'm just going to add a little bit of vanilla and then I'm going to blitz it one last time for a couple of minutes and then it will be done. It's already perfect, lovely and fluffy, lovely and white in colour. But yeah, for this extra little bit of flavour, as they're vanilla cupcakes, let's do this. Okay, so there you go. Lovely and fluffy and white in colour, just exactly what you want it to be like. Now you can definitely do this with an electric hand mixer if you don't have a stand mixer. I just find it easier because you do want to beat it for quite a long time. But yeah, lovely consistency, I'm very happy with this. So next thing to do with this will be to decorate the cakes. So either putting it into a piping bag, which I'm going to do, or you could literally just, what I used to do, is to get a spoon and spoon it on top of the cupcakes. That is fine as well, it tastes the same. If you haven't got piping bags or you don't fancy it, you want to be a bit quicker, then you can do it that way. So yeah. Next up is decorating. Woo! Okay, so before we ice all of our cupcakes, I thought I'd show you something that I like to do when I'm just using plain vanilla cupcakes, and that is to fill them. And I like to fill them with jam. So I've got some jam here. I also like to fill them quite often with something like Nutella, which is a really, really good filling as well, but I thought I'd go with jam today. So what I use is I use this. I use like one of my piping nozzles, but the bottom is like a perfect shape to core out the middle. You can get like corers specifically for cupcakes, but I just use this. So quite simply, all I do is just push it through, and don't push all the way to the bottom because then you'll make a hole and the jam would go right through and we don't want that. So you push in like that, you see you've made a little hole, and then with the top, you can either push it back on top, but I tend to just eat these as a snack because they're the best snack. But then what you do is you fill the center with jam, and then when you're eating the cupcake, you get a nice surprise of jam, Nutella, whatever you want, literally anything. Lemon curd is great if you're making lemon cupcakes. So I'm gonna do that just with the plain ones, not the funfetti ones, because the funfetti ones are fun and yummy anyway. So I'm just gonna put holes in all the middle of these, fill them with a little bit of jam, and then we'll finally get on to decorating these things. Right, so I've put my buttercream into a piping bag and I've got a like star nozzle on it, but it doesn't really matter what nozzle you have, whatever you've got. And now I'm gonna pipe. So if you've nailed these and want something really easy to make as well, then click up here for my school dinner sponge recipe and click up here for my coffee cake recipe. And I'll see you in the next video. Bye.